Hello everyone. So I just want to do a quick little update, I guess, on what's going on in here. I know I just did a repot video of Phalaenopsis, but like I said, in that video I wanted to show you some more of what's just happening, I guess, with a few spikes and some progress on some plants. So let's start with the Lalias. I got these last winter, so I've only had them for, I'd say, maybe about 9-10 months, and you know, they're my first Lalia, so I'm learning with them. On these, this one had a spike coming. This was the new growth. It had a spike, but the heat of the summer, I think, did not go too well, and plus it didn't have that great of a root system, so that's why I kind of mounted them. And as you can see, we're starting to get branching on a lot of the roots. This Lalia here had two spikes on its new growth, but they also failed, and roots are starting to extend pretty well. This one's just kind of sitting there, and then this one down here is starting to push out some new roots. No spike on that one. So with, I guess, my lessons kind of learned of maybe just trying to provide them with a little bit cooler, maybe taking them into the house or putting them on the opposite side of my house in the east window or something like that, maybe they'll have a little bit more success. My Neophonetia falcata cherry blossom by Purple Fantasy is pushing out roots and a new growth right in there. So now it has 4 growths, or 5 growth points, so that's good. This Neo is kind of just sitting there. This one was a growth, but it rotted. Oh, I see a little tiny root tip coming there. Sorry guys. See the little root tip? That's some good news. Bulbophyllum fascinator, looking kind of dehydrated. I don't know. I'm wondering if this one maybe has something like Fusarium or something. Maybe I might spray it, but we'll see. Maybe like I said, once the temperatures start to stabilize a little bit again, maybe it'll be a little bit happier. But there is something going on right in here, which I'm thinking it's a flower spike, because it's coming between the rhizome and the bulb there. I don't know if it would be another new growth. Tolumnia, my only Tolumnia. Oops. It's doing okay. It's got some new roots coming, new growths. Yeah, I think it could be hydrated just a little bit better, but it needs to push out a better root system, I think. I mean, it has a fairly good one, I guess, but I think it could probably have a little bit better one to help it along. The vanilla has finally regained its strength. It's got 2 growth points. Roots coming out, nice long roots again. It's actually attaching to the stick, or the stake, or whatever you want to call it, the support. So that's good. So I'm actually starting to wrap it again. So hopefully, maybe by the end of next year, I might see some flowers on it. I don't know. Then this is a Stenorhynchus. This is coming along. My ficus bonsai. And back there in the corner, if you could see that bud, that's on a path I just got at our orchid show here in Milwaukee. It's a Pathiopetalum QF John Fields, I believe. So it's like it's something with Philippinensis. It's a cross. It's a hybrid. What is this one? Path Temptation has new growths. They're starting to plump back up again after I repotted them, so it's doing okay. Path Barbatum has 2 new growths, but then I also noticed yesterday that it has another new growth down in there. You see that little tiny green spot? Let's see. Can you see it? No. There. You can't see it. So we'll have three plants. Waiting so I can see some roots around the edge of the pot, but that's not happening. This is the Hilo Blaze, I believe it is. Yeah. Ablaze, Hilo Ablaze. Kind of got my eye on this one too because it's not really acting like it should be. I got one root coming there on the bottom, so we'll see what happens. I might have to get out the fungicide again. Rothschildianum roots are doing pretty good. See lots of new tips. 2 growths on it, so that's good. This little no ID path, it blasted its bud. I don't know why. Well, probably because of all the heat, I should say. But it has a fairly good root system. Has 3 new growths coming. As you can see, I just watered. So what is this one? This is, I think, Lowii. Path Lowii. Yep. Starting to come along a little bit. Let's see if I can see any. There's the root tip. There's some root tips. That's exciting news. And then this is Path Stony Eye. Or Stony Eye. Don't see too many roots. I don't see any roots coming to the edge yet, but I think I just kind of did a little pot of this like a few weeks ago, and they are growing, so not to worry. This little Cattleya or Potanara, I don't know, it's acting strange. Has these buds. I don't know if these look, I think these look like they're gonna blast, but they are a color like this, but they just look too small to be turning that color. And you can see how the bud is actually like all crinkled and messed up, like all of these. On this one, on both these two, the buds actually, it didn't even extend the flower spike. It just opened up little tiny flowers, like they were super small, and all it was like the pollinia. It wasn't even like a fully mature flower. And this isn't like a young seedling or nothing like that. I got this 2 years ago at the orchid show, and it just never bloomed, and now this is the first year blooming again for me. So it actually put up a lot of new growths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new growths, and it has that one still coming along. But yeah, so 4 out of the 6 bloomed. These 2 more successfully, and this one looks like it's going to be the most successful. Maybe, I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know if it's that the fungicide that maybe has some kind of adverse effect on the flowers or what, because I don't know what it is. I don't know. To be honest with you, I really just don't know what has gone wrong with it. That's my Dendrobium kurashiki, no buds yet. Here's Cattleya that I purchased at this year's orchid show. There's some roots coming on it. A little Encyclia, the big Dendrobium. Oops. Some new growths coming on this Dendrobium Joannis, or Cephalobacillum Joannis. two Miltonias. This one's opening up its spike. This one blasted its spike, and this one had another one that blasted. So it's good to see one at least made it. This little dendrobium. Actually, I missed this one with the water. I gotta water it. The flowers are going over. I don't know. I repotted it, but it seems to me like it's not that happy. Maybe I should set it in a little saucer of water. Let me get some water for it actually. Just gonna let it soak for a little bit. Let's see, it's currently 79 in here. It was just 91, but I watered, so it kind of dropped the temp. Here's all my kikis, and this is the Dendrobium phalaenopsis that I just got that had no roots on it. It's showing one little growth, so it's starting its progression. There's a bud or something coming on this nobly. That's a kiki off of the big one. Zygos starting to swell up. This one's got new growth. This one has a bunch of new growths. They're starting to swell. And new growth here. That one down there ain't doing so hot, but I just treated them all with the fungicide because, like I said, I got some of these in just recently, and I don't trust anyone no more. I treat all my plants with a fungicide. I don't care if you're a reputable dealer or not. They just, you know what, stuff happens where things get overlooked or just not noticed, and I just noticed that I better be safe than sorry because I've had to throw out a lot of plants. So I'm tired of throwing out plants from Fusarium and all kinds of other stuff. So this Cattleya is starting to put out a lot of roots. We got a sheath on this. You see it there. On that, Schomburgkia, no longer Schomburgkia though. Let's see. We have some sheaths on some of these Cattleyas in here. Nothing doing too much. This is my Ivanagara apple blossom. I don't see any sheaths on any of its new growths. Oh, maybe on this one. Let's see. Some new roots coming on this little Oncidium Siku Marguerite. And let's see, Oncidium Wild Willie. New growth, roots doing good. Let's see, down by the Oncidiums though now. Now this one is a weird one. Let me show you this one. I know that this one probably has Fusarium. And I bought it knowing it had Fusarium from eBay. But it's Oncidium Tiger Crow Golden Girl. So I've been looking for this thing and I haven't been able to find one, so I found it and I'm taking my chance. But look at this little pseudobulb it produced and rotted off its leaves, but look at what's coming out the side of it, a spike. But there's also seems to be a new growth coming there, and there's one starting to push on there. The bulbs are actually pumping up a little bit more now, so hopefully it's gonna do okay. Okay, let's see, we got a big mess back here. That one's pushing along. It's starting to actually have some decent leaves on it now. The Volcano Queen, and then some of its back things too, and they just keep, this one just keeps putting up spikes. It had a spike here, spike here, there's a spike here. You know, it's funny, like when it was a healthy plant, it didn't put up any spikes, but now that it's like just now coming back, it's got all these spikes on all of the divisions, so it's, I guess, doing okay. So then my Sherry Baby has 1, 2, and okay, 1, 2, 3 spikes coming. Tons of new growths. The bulbs are starting to, the pseudo bulbs are starting to swell. This, what is this one? Well, maybe I won't, hopefully I won't break it again. This is Oncidium Rosy Sunset Pacific Satin. And this is the one that I just kind of slip potted. I just put it into its clay pot without a plastic liner, and it has air spaces around it. It's doing good. The spike is still green, but it's broken, but it's starting to extend from 2 nodes. This spike is doing okay, so I kind of put it in the back corner here to protect it from me. Hopefully I don't break it now. Put it back there. And I'm so scared about these Sherry Babies. Spike's gonna get broken too from me. Okay. This is an unknown Brassia. I don't know what cultivar or hybrid or whatever it is. Let's see. I see roots coming in there. Sorry guys, using the wrong hand to move stuff around. There's a root coming. Then this is the other Cattleya that came with the other one that I showed you with the messed up flowers. But I know it had Fusarium now because I took it all apart. And it has the purple ring and stuff like that, and it just wasn't, it made such a huge plant this year, but it was just acting funny. But it kind of stalled after a while, like in the middle of summer. So I decided to treat it with the fungicide, and all of a sudden these 2 new growths shot out of this one, and it's producing roots now, so hopefully that division is okay. This one I'm keeping my eye on still. But let me show you the funny part that I was talking about. Like, it formed these pseudobulbs. Like, this one has 3 leaves, this one has 2, but then it formed these other pseudobulbs on top, which were sheaths originally, like it was gonna bloom. So this one has some kind of a sheath there too again, and this one also has what appears to be a sheath too. So like I said, this plant was affected with Fusarium, so I don't know if that was some way that it was trying to like propagate itself with another pseudobulb. Maybe roots will come out there, I don't know, but it just acted so weird. So yeah, I don't know, we'll see what happens with that. I'm just keeping it to see if anything happens. Otherwise I'll just keep the main plant. It seems to be doing well there. Let's see, take a step back. Ginger, turmeric, and alocasia, I believe, doing good now. Lucinieri, doing okay. This one I got after I got the other one. It looks like it has a new root or something coming maybe there. I don't know. Doesn't look too happy, but we'll give it some time. It's only been here for a month or so, and like I said, it's these past few months are very hard because it's like during the day it gets super hot, but at night it gets super cold. So it's like I'm stuck trying to keep this enclosed or keep it open. So I just make the decision to keep it closed, and I vent all that hot air into my house, and then I suffer too. So once, like I said, it starts to mellow out here, I think we'll all be happier. But this Lucinieri has a new flower spike coming right there. I can't take any credit for these because I've just had them for a few months, but it's nice to see a flower spike, so I'm happy with that. As you can see, it's starting to get a little bit dark, and it's quite humid in here now after I watered the phals. There's the one that I just repotted. Strawberries are doing okay. Here's my frag and encyclias now. My frags kind of suffered over the summer here because just having all these plants, I was trying to find a place for them, and I kind of put them in a corner. They don't like corners. They like the sun. Like this one, like this beast, you know. This one has done super well for me this year. It's actually got another spike coming right here. This is like its 8th spike this year. I've never had it do that, so it's liking what's going on with it this year. Let me see if there's any more spikes. There should be a few more. There should be one coming on that one soon. Maybe on this one. Hold on. Yeah, I think I got to set it in a saucer of water again. Looks like it's getting kind of floppy. It's dry. But yeah, 8 spikes on that. And this one stayed in the full sun. I didn't treat this one bad. I was bad to these guys. So they're kind of small. This plant was quite vigorous, but now, like I said, I tucked it away in the corner and it slowed down its vigor, so I got to reinvigorate it. So it's over here in full sun now again. It's got quite a few new growths. There's quite a few new growths on this one, this one. This is one I just got at the show. This one I just got in the mail too. It's a Schlimii with buds. And then this one is going to be a nice one. This is a Kavachi hybrid. This is something spirit, Peru something, or Frag Peru Flora Spirit 3N. So hopefully that one does well. Let me show you my Bessier. Oh my gosh, it was doing so good, and then I accidentally cracked its only crown off, but it has these new growths around the base, and it's been like this now for a few weeks, so hopefully I can get them to get enough energy to extend, but I don't know. I don't have too much hope for it. This Schlimii I've been suffering with. This is the one, or has been suffering. This is the one from Equigenera that had no really viable roots, and I've been trying to get it back, but it's starting to come back now again. So like I said, I had it tucked away, and these things really do like more light, so I messed it up myself. I've been messing up all my orchids this year, I guess. Some bonsais, or training bonsais, or whatever you want to call them. My cannas, roses. Everything's kind of brought in now because of the weather. And then my 2 monsters down here. Let me go down here. My grammatophyllums. It's got 3 growths on it. They're starting to swell up. Hopefully we can get it to spike. That would be super nice. But I should probably start watering and feeding it, definitely, to encourage it to do that. Leaves are looking kind of old and tatty on the older bulbs. That's probably my fault too. Lack of food. This one kind of put up this weird growth, and it seems like it's starting to finally do okay. It's starting to swell, but then it put up like this secondary new growth just a few months ago, and that's starting to swell up and put out some roots. So hopefully this plant comes along. But yeah, that's pretty much the orchids. That's kind of what's going on. I have my 2 catasetums. I had my one that I've had for 2 or 3 years that finally, I mean, it was blooming sides because it had spikes, old spikes on it, but I never seen the flowers. I never got it to bloom myself. But this year I finally got it to bloom, and I think my perception was that kind of when it blooms, it's supposed to be kind of dormant. So I kind of stopped watering it, and I think that's what made it blast its whole spike. So learning curves for me this year, a lot of learning. But next year. And the same thing with I got a Millennium Magic Witchcraft with 2 spikes on it too, and they both blasted too. But that was in this heat. It was like 100 degrees, you know, and I even had this opened up, but it just couldn't handle the heat out here. So I took them in the house, and that just was one extreme to the next, and just caused them both to blast. I also have my Miltoniopsis orchids in the house, and they're doing okay. They're doing good. I got lots of new growths, new roots. I just kind of repotted them. I'm repotting in this new kind, in a new different style for me, kind of like Kokedama, you know, like raised, kind of like how they did the Neophanetias on a raised mound of moss. So that I figure, well, they like the moss, they like being wet, and when I say wet, I mean wet, and they're doing good for me, and they're sending out tons of roots. So I figured if I just raise the moss up just as a precaution, like the Kokedama style, that it would just allow more air into the root mass. So they seem to be doing good, but maybe I'll do a little video on them, because I was actually reading the AOS on Miltoniopsis, and it's kind of funny because they say that they're warm growers, and everyone has always said that they're cool growers. So they talk about them growing on the coast of in the coast of Costa Rica. So I never been to Costa Rica, so I wouldn't be able to tell you if it's warm or cool, but I would think it's a little bit more warmer. It's kind of a tropical area. So maybe I'll do a video on just like some care about them, because I see a lot of people are struggling with them too, because they put them in like an airy media, and they just always, they seem to not do so well with that airy media. They like a little bit more moisture, you know, when people say evenly moist, but I mean, evenly moist could mean watering every day, you know. And the funny thing is, I was watching William Green's channel, My Green Pets, and he had an AOS judge on there, and the AOS judge was talking about how to use moss, and he said pack the moss into the pot, because if you pack the moss into the pot, you're giving the moss less space to absorb the water, which makes complete sense. Like if you take and he compared it to a sponge. He said if you squeeze a sponge and then like you're holding it in your hand and you put it in the water, how much water is it going to absorb? Not a lot. But you let that same sponge go and put it in the water, how much water is it going to absorb? A lot. So by packing the moss into the pots a little bit more, you're not giving it as much room to get as damp. So it allows it to be more evenly moist than sopping wet. Kind of makes sense to me. I don't know. Say something down in the comments and tell me what you think about it. But I think that's going to be it for this little update. And I'll talk to you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.